Hey, Steve Dangle here. We're going to talk about a really wild signing in just a second here, but I want to talk to you about something first. Let's talk about the Princess Margaret Cancer Foundation road hockey event fueled by Longos. But not like a, hey, let's have fun way, like a, I'm going to beat the crap out of cancer way. Get your team in the game. Teams are made up of 8 to 12 players, and you must raise a minimum of $10,000 to participate. That's per team. Bring your friends, your colleagues, your clients, your family. Whoever your hockey crew is, bring them together for a great cause. Now, here's where you got to pay attention. Register your team today at pmcfroadhockey.ca. That's pmcfroadhockey.ca. Join us on October 3rd for the 15th anniversary of the PMCF Road Hockey Tournament. 2 in 5 Canadians will be diagnosed with cancer in their lifetime. And cancer rates are rising fastest among millennials. And the Princess Margaret is Canada's leading cancer research center. And they have an all-star team of researchers and doctors looking to score the next goal against cancer. And this is how you can get an assist. Once again, this is the Princess Margaret Cancer Foundation Road Hockey event fueled by Longos. And we need you there. Visit pmcfroadhockey.ca and sign up. Now, let's talk. Hey! Are you ready for an extremely weird sentence to come out of my mouth? You are? Okay, here it goes. Sergei Bobrovsky is a Leaf. No, that's weird. That was weird, right? I got a couple laughs from the other room. That's weird. That is so weird. That's really weird. Now, I know a bunch of you are concerned about the fact that Sergei Bobrovsky has signed a 3-year deal with the Toronto Maple Leafs at $7 million per season. The reason you're concerned is because Sergei Bobrovsky is 37 years old. And you're like, I don't know if I want a 37-year-old goalie to play goalie for the Leafs. And I have great news for you. When next season begins, he will actually be 38. So you don't have to worry about your nightmare of a 37-year-old goalie playing for you. He's actually going to be 38. And then the next year, he'll be 39. And then the year after that, because remember, he signed to 3 years, holy moly, he'll be 40. Who was the last 40-year-old goalie to play for the Leafs? And is the answer Ed Belfour? What happened to that guy? How did his career with the Leafs end? He win a cup, he won a Vezina, they bought him out. Well, here's the thing. I think with regard to the Sergei Bobrovsky signing in Toronto, there is way too much recency bias. And by recency bias, I mean recency fear. Sergei Bobrovsky did not have a good 2025-2026 season. No one on the Panthers did. I don't know if you noticed that. He had a record of 27-23-1, which is not horrible. His .877 save percentage is. That's terrible. That's really, really bad. But what do you think is more likely? Sergei Bobrovsky is breakneck speed terrible on a team that was busted, and by the end of the season, nobody was playing except him for some reason. That dude had to play 52 games behind last year's Florida Panthers. No Barkov in sight for the whole thing. No Tkachuk in sight for the vast majority of it. Now he's got 2. And so many other, Marchand, Reinhart. You have 2 between Barkov and Reinhart, 2 Selke-nominated / winning players not playing for you for parts of or all of the season. Yeah, that's going to affect the way that your team plays defense. What is more likely? That he's garbage because of that, or is he closer to the goalie who gave you a .906, a .915, and a .901 in 3 seasons? And we should probably focus on the playoff part of that. In 3 straight berths in the Stanley Cup final, he had a .915, they lost, a .906, they won, and a .914, they won. Dudes, we saw this guy twice in that window. He beat the Leafs in 2023 badly. So badly did he beat the Leafs. And then in 2025, bit of a speed wobble, but he figured it out, and he was a huge reason why the Florida Panthers were able to beat the Toronto Maple Leafs. Now he is on the Toronto Maple Leafs. Literally, the tandem that won back-to-back Stanley Cups with the Florida Panthers is now the Leafs tandem. It's Bobrovsky and Stolarz. Now, context matters. Anthony Stolarz is no longer the guy who led the league in save percentage with the Florida Panthers. He's not even the guy who led the league in save percentage with the Leafs. He is one of the most injury-prone goalies in the league. Here's where it gets really interesting. As long as we're talking big picture here. The Leafs no longer have Joseph Woll, okay? So they have Sergei Bobrovsky. There's your starter. They have Anthony Stolarz. That's your backup. Kinda. You have Dennis Hildeby, who now requires waivers, and you probably shouldn't want to lose Dennis Hildeby on account of out of all goalies who played 20 or more games last season, he was third in save percentage. And you have Artur Akhtyamov, who just won the Calder Cup, and en route to winning the Calder Cup, he was the Calder Cup MVP, the Calder Cup playoff MVP. He doesn't require waivers. So you might be looking at this and going, well, obviously Hildeby is going to end up on waivers and they're going to lose this guy. They could trade Stolarz. They could waive him. I just don't think that's going to happen. I imagine Stolarz, who is going to be Bobrovsky's goalie partner, is a big reason for why Bobrovsky signed here. Here's a sneaky option. They could trade Hildeby, obviously, to improve. But I think there's an option that no one's really considering. The Leafs go with 3 goalies. Dude, Bobrovsky, if anyone could justify it, it's them. I said this when it was Stolarz Woll, and I still think it's true with Bobrovsky Stolarz. Stolarz is made of glass. I love the man. I really do. And when he's playing at his best, he's incredible. But he is made of glass. Bobrovsky is 38. What if you have a 3 goalie setup? Hildeby does not make very much. You know he's a capable NHL guy, and you don't lose him for nothing. Is that a potential option for the Leafs? Obviously, the trade route is an option for the Leafs, but prices out there are garbage. It was just released before I started shooting this video that the Buffalo Sabres got a 3rd-round pick for Devin Levi, and some might argue that's even an overpay based on what Levi has been. Think of what Levi was supposed to be. A 3rd-round pick? That's a nightmare for Buffalo. Big picture. In a vacuum, it's fine, because context matters. It should go without saying, I really think the Bobrovsky signing with the Leafs is this simple. If he performs, it's a great deal. It's only 3 years. $7 million isn't what it used to be. And when the playoffs arrive, that's where he earns his money. If he doesn't perform, it's a complete and utter failure. That's how this works. That is 150,000% how this works. And if he doesn't start next year in the playoffs, it could be because the Leafs didn't make the playoffs. But also, it could be because Stolarz is maybe starting. When the streak of 3 straight Stanley Cup finals happened, it was Alex Lyon starting in net for the Panthers, and then Bob stepped in and was Bob! The Bruins couldn't beat him. The best regular season team in NHL history couldn't beat him. And it wasn't until they ran into Vegas that they ran out of steam. The next year, he was so good, they won the Cup. And the next year after that, he was so good, they won the Cup. I think you are looking at last year way too out of context and way too literally. I think this is still an incredible goalie. It does come with some risk. The Leafs have signed old guys to 3-year deals and gotten burned every time in recent memory. But we're talking Ryan Reeves, that's not the same caliber of player, and we're talking Patrick Marleau, who was still very good when they signed him, but I still don't think we're talking the same caliber of player. We're talking about a starting goalie for a Stanley Cup winning team versus tremendously old winger who for some reason you forced to play center a bunch, who got 27 goals in his first year, and that was the peak of it. Bobrovsky, he can be the guy. For years, the Leafs have trotted out guys who we thought could maybe be the guy. We know this can be the guy. Can he still be the guy is the question. His resume is undeniable. 2-time Stanley Cup champion, 2-time Vezina winner. He will be in the Hockey Hall of Fame. If Pekka Rinne is a first ballot Hockey Hall of Fame goaltender, Sergei Bobrovsky most certainly is. The question is, how long does he have left being the guy? Fascinating stuff. And John Chaika, giant Chakinators at the beginning of his tenure. I was thinking of chicken tenders. Giant Chakinators at the beginning of his tenure as Toronto Maple Leafs GM. What do you think? Leave a comment in the comment box down below. For now, that is it for this one. Thank you very much for watching. Click like if you like this video. Click subscribe if you really like to. Tell your friends. SDPN! That YouTube channel is the place you need to be today because we are churning out content. We got a stream at 4:30 p.m. Eastern, which should be action-packed, in part because Sergei Bobrovsky is a Leaf.